Good morning, everybody. Today is Friday morning. It's 10 o'clock Ohio time. It's 8 o'clock, and I get in areas that, I've been listening to YouTube videos the whole time, and then when I want to do a live stream, I think it's because it's streaming live, and I think that's what the problem is. I mean, I could do a tape show, but you guys like this live stuff, unless, especially Adam, because Adam doesn't have anything to do. So I'm in New Mexico right now, heading home after a great show. I mean, you've seen my videos, it's got huge hits. A lot of people are watching it. And retailers are very excited about what I am doing for them. And it is unbelievable, actually. I'm working now, remember, LOL. I know you are, Adam. I'm kidding, Adam. Boy, you've got thin-skinned, Adam. And so I'll just kind of tell you, so the show started on Tuesday, and from the beginning, from the start, I had two big orders. From the very minute it started, I had two really big orders. Now there's only one order that I question about, but other than that, I got credit cards for everything. So it's not like, it was just a phenomenal show. I think the thing that the retailers love the most when do I need to show up? It's getting worse. Like I can't, like from here to here, I can see fine. So, orders for what? Well, retailers. So this show that you are now leaving New Mexico. What state am I in now? Texas? Yeah, I'm in Texas, the Upper Peninsula of Texas. The not the Panhandle, but the tip of Texas. I'm seeing the guardrails are in. Yes, the guardrails are in, and boy, are those sweet. I mean, those guardrails are amazing, and I'm going to be out of those really fast. So this show is for retail. It's called the NRSA show, the National Retailers Hobby Association. Something like that. I might have left a word out. And I've been doing that trade show since the first time I did that show was in 1998. I don't think I did it in 97. I could have done it in 97, but I forgot. But I know I did it in 98, 99, and 2000. I did not do it in 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I started doing it again in 2007. And 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, and it's basically, so there were two made, just so people know, I'm just kind of talking right now. I'm just doing a show for you guys to let you know that I'm alive and that I wanted to do something for you guys that like these live streams, okay? So I'm going to give you guys a little history of these shows. So NRSA, the AMA was there was another show called the AMA, which I can't remember what the acronym stood for. but it was more for manufacturers. I think it was the Association of Manufacturers, and that was usually in Chicago, and it was called RICTA. That's the name of it, RICTA. Retailers, blah, blah, blah. And it was a huge show in Chicago. I mean, huge. Thursday, Friday, and Thursday, and I think it was Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday were retailers only. And then Saturday and Sunday were consumer days. And it was huge. At least 70,000 people would come to this thing. I mean, it was packed. I mean, you would have Boy Scout groups, you'd have kids. I would do demos on my racetrack, and their kids would be like 20 or 30 deep. All right. And it was 2008 was the last really, no, 2007 was. Yeah, that was the year that they hired me. It was 2007. October of 2007 is when the last really big show was, where they had, it was completely filled out and there was just hundreds of people there. Now, well, actually it was bigger than that. So back in 1996, the first time I did that show, it was mammoth. I mean, it took up the whole convention center, and then slowly they started to lose a lot of their toy manufacturers. Because I remember back in 96, you had all the card companies like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and they had their booths there because they knew there were a lot of consumers coming, so they would sell a lot of cards. And so then basically back in 1999, they decided to compete with NERSA. See, NERSA was really a retailer manufacturer. You know, it was really designed for just the retailer, where the one in Chicago was designed for the manufacturers. Well, they thought that they could do better by going to different cities and everything, and then they learned out that no, that didn't work. They should have kept it in Chicago at all times, and it would have been probably successful, but they decided to move it. Plus, I think a lot of retailers had closed, or manufacturers were consolidating, and basically things changed. You know, the hobby industry that exists right now is nothing like it was back in 96. I'll just tell you that right now. From the first show that I did, completely different show, or completely different market. You basically, nowadays, there were two main distributors, and that was Hobby Time, or Great Plains and Horizon. Great Plains was number one, and then Horizon. And then, I don't know what happened to Great Plains, but they went out of business about 5 years ago. I think they got over it. They started, the problem with a lot of these distributors, they started buying all their companies that they were buying and selling. And that just is not a viable, it's not a viable business model. It's the same thing that happens to companies where they go off a track. They think, oh, we need to do this now. And they forget their main focus, you know. And that's why, you know, I told you a story about SCX and about Auto World decided they wanted to go into 143rd. And I told you better stop that, because you're not going to be able to compete with Carrera Go, number one, because you're going to have to spend all this money on all these molds and keep coming out with cars, and they listened to me. Actually, they didn't do any more 143rd. That's right. Focus on their core values, or their core items that make them, and just do it better. Continually do it better, you know, which is the key. Is you constantly refine what you're doing and make it better and better and better, and try to slowly build your market share. And I've done this ever since I've been in business. I've always created a market. See, retail, Auto World, which I have to convince Auto World, is to create a market where there is no market. And you have to create a market. And that means advertising. That means doing things to get more and more people into your product. And I've done that. I did that at Young's Newsstand. I did it at Professor Tinker's. I really did it a lot at Young's Newsstand, though. And Rarities, when I opened up Rarities, I started selling slot car sets there, and nobody had ever seen it, or nobody had one. And I sold 100 slot car sets in that city alone in 1 year. 100. I was buying, from September to Christmas, I was buying 10 sets a week from Irwin Toy. 10 sets a week. So anyways, so that's the NERSA show. I just got done with NERSA, and it was phenomenal. All these retailers, they want to buy all my exclusives, which I just find that absolutely awesome. Now, all those cars, and I was thinking about this morning as I was driving, is all these cars now, and they're going to go all over the United States. There are hobby stores that are going to be carrying these cars in every state, just about, which is awesome. I just think it's awesome. A customer's going to come in that store and go, holy cow, where did these cars come from? Well, this is a new company called BCY Service, and they're helping the retailers. And that is my goal, is to help the retailers. Make sure the retailers are great. That's my goal. That's my goal. So, so I've been going to Vegas. The first time I think I went to Vegas, we took the kids to Vegas once. That was a mistake. But that was when in 94, they were trying to, or 96, I think they were trying to recreate Vegas and make it more family friendly. Well, that was a mistake. It was not. I was deluded. Anyways, the first show that I did was in 1996, or went to Vegas in 1996. Actually, I went in 1994 when I took the two kids across the country. But we really never went to any casino. We just kind of drove through Vegas. And then we went to Lake Mead. And then we went to California. And then we drove back to the Grand Canyons and all that kind of stuff. So I've been doing Vegas. I've been going to Vegas since 1996. And so I want to give you the exact amount of money that I use to, I'm going to say the word gamble, because you're really not gambling. It's more just entertainment. All right. So I spent, on the first day, I had $10, and I went to the, I don't go to the craps tables anymore because frankly, it's too expensive. In the Orleans, about 5 years ago, you could play the craps tables for $5, which is, a reasonable amount of money. Your minimum bet was $5. All right. And you could, I could, play for an hour or 2 hours, and I could be ahead, about 50 or 60 bucks. Now, the minimum on that table is $15. So for example, you're going to place 15, then you're going to have to back that bet up with another 15 or 20. So you're already $40 into one bet. And I'm telling you, I don't think it's helping them because nobody was there betting. Not to any extent that I've seen in the past. So anyways, so what I did is they have these new video game craps tables, which, this just got dice that are bopping up and down. And so I put $10 in, and I was down to, I think, $1. And then I bet again, or I did the craps again, and I got up to $29, I think, $28.90, I think. Yeah, $28.90. And I cashed out and went to bed. So I was up $20. So the following day, I don't think I didn't. I know I didn't do anything. That was one Monday. I set up the table on Monday, and then Bill, I think, took us out to dinner, and that's right. We went to a Korean restaurant, Korean barbecue. Which, if you've ever been to a Korean barbecue, it's awesome. Oh my goodness, the meat's there. Oh my goodness. Holy cow. Okay, so then I got home late. I sat down in the lounge, just kind of sat around. I did have a cigar, okay. And then I went to bed. And then Tuesday was the day of the show, and I did the whole show. And then at the end of that day, I was exhausted because I had talked nonstop for 6 hours. Literally nonstop. I talked nonstop. A customer was coming every 5 seconds, and I told him the same story over and over again. Cat, dog, etc. So then the second, oh yeah, and so that night I put $5 when I was getting ready to go to bed. I put a $5 in a dollar slot, and I didn't win anything. So I used $5 of the $20 that I won. And so then the next day what did I do? Oh yeah, I put $4. My denture is falling. I had to use polygrip because when I did a lot of talking. I don't like to use polygrips if I'm not doing a lot of talking because they'll stay up. All right. The suction will stay up, but if I do a lot of talking, then they kind of drop. But if I have polygrip, there's no problem. But polygrip, there's if you take them out, then you gotta clean it. I'd rather not use polygrip if I don't need to. But when I was talking, I put them in both days. So that evening, I put $4 in, and I won $10. And so $11. And that was it. So I can't believe this, honestly. I went to Vegas and spent, let's see, $10, $5, and $4. 19. I went to Vegas and spent $19 on their games. $19, guys. Now, I'm not telling you what I used to spend in the machines, but it was not $19. What's that say? It only comes out ahead once in Vegas. Well, that's what I came out in today. This was actually the second time, because last year I did the same thing. I actually put in $100 and I got $289 out of the slots, and I stopped right there. I didn't go anywhere else. And I came out much higher. So this year I spent 19, I think, and I got 40 or 35. So I did very well. I spent more. I think I gave away more money than I gambled. So there was something really cool happened. So on my way to Vegas, I stopped into a McDonald's, and I do this a lot because it's just the way I am. And there were so I'm in line getting my food, and there are like 7 teenagers come in. They look like they're seniors and juniors maybe. And I said, okay, guys, get in line for your food. I'm going to pay for it. And they go, no way. Oh, yeah, come on. I want to. And I started talking to them, and a lot of them were going into the, trades. They're going to technical colleges. I said, that's great. And I gave them a little pep talk about, who I am. And then, it was those little things just cheer me up because, and I always tell people, always pursue your dream. Always pursue your dream. Look, I would love to be around 50 years from now when all these windmills are going to be broken and none of them are turning. All right, what did you say? I gotta read these. I got a big heart. Well, I think I maybe I do, maybe I don't. I just like to help people. You know that? I think, where was I else? Then I was in Vegas and there was a guy, and you don't know this. You know, sometimes you don't know these beggar. I never give him money. I went into I went to In-N-Out twice, which is just a great burger place. And I bought a $20 gift card for the guy, and I gave him a $20 gift card for In-N-Out Burger. I think I gave away more money than I gambled money. And then I went to the movies. I went to so in the theaters they had Star Trek: The Voyage Home, and it was a good sci-fi. I mean, I don't think they had it right about whales. I mean, I don't. An aliens that were into whale. That guy must have been a nutcase that wrote that story. So the show was really awesome. A lot of cool stuff. There's been a lot of advancement in micro brushless motors, which has really helped the RC industry. And rock climbers. Those are very popular, rock climbers. A lot of hop-up stuff for RC. Model kits are making a big comeback. I noticed there were a lot of more model companies there. You know, so there was just a lot of cool stuff there. A lot of new model companies. See, what you don't understand is that back in the 60s, I don't want to say a million, but there had to be at least 20,000 molds made during the 60s, plastic model molds. You know, Revell, AMT, Lindbergh, MPC. I mean, there were just so many. Aurora had thousands of molds. They were so cheap to make. You know what? Oh, I meant to tell you that. So there was a guy that came up to my booth. There, and he's with Atlas, Atlantis or Atlas Model Company. And he was showing me a picture of a slot. And then I blew my mind away. I was just trying to think about, okay, so he showed me a picture and it came in 6 modules. It was a James Bond, Sears and Roebuck, and you can get online, type in James Bond, Sears and Roebuck slot car set. And they were basically Aurora, small, you know, and this whole thing was in 6 modules, and it was a 3-dimensional, like a mountain, like in the movie Dr. Goldfinger, you know, where he's going down the mountain in his Mustang, and it had a jump bridge. The whole thing retailed in 1964. Okay, this is what I could not believe. It retailed. You could see images. Go on YouTube and type in James Bond 007 Sears and Roebuck set. No, and it was made by Galoob. Okay, they used Aurora cars, but it was made by Galoob. Okay, look at all those trucks. Good grief! And it retailed for $34.95. Okay, now, I don't look at that number. All right, so Sears had to buy it for at least $15. It had to be manufactured for $7. This whole huge set manufactured for $7. So that the manufacturer could make $7 and then Sears could make $15. I couldn't believe it. I was saying, no, that's impossible. And then I started thinking about how much inflation has destroyed this world. And that things used to, and it was all about fuel. And nothing, back in the 60s, things didn't cost anything. We literally, things were pennies and dimes and nickels. And people made tons of money because they sold so many things for dimes and nickels. Check out that race set. He showed me, he's got it. He owns that set. And he showed me a picture of the 6 modules, fully detailed, painted, and everything. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unfortunately, I can't read your comments because the sun is shining on me, and my glasses, I can't read the comments. Plus, I gotta slow down talking because my dentures aren't staying in. Well, I hear that race night was pretty exciting last night. Did everybody have fun at race night? So the retail, one of the key things about what the retailers were telling me is when I was telling them that they could buy all these cars individually, okay, that's what got them excited, because normally when they go to their distributor and they're buying these assortments, they hardly have any of the assortments. And you can't pick out the cars you want. All these windmills, they look terrible on the countryside. They look just ugly. You can't tell me that that's an efficient way of making energy, is these windmills. I'm sorry, I don't think that's renewable energy. I think digging it out of the ground, oil and natural gas, I think that's the true renewables. I can't read your comments, sorry. But go ahead and comment. Oh. Now see, I could just put one little dab of polygrip and it would probably keep the dentures in while I'm talking. Right in front here. Or 2 dots here and here. But then I couldn't take them out until the night. And I do like to take them out when I'm driving, just kind of relax. So a lot of awesome things have happened this week. The show was a very big success. All the sets are beginning to sell now, which is very exciting. And so if you want to get I'm just telling you right now, if you want to get your order in for the new sets, we have 4 new sets, or 3 new sets, and the new one's going to be coming out in October, the Victory 400. I'd get them in now. And honestly, I didn't know if I was going to sell all 200. Honestly, I don't think, I think these are going to sell out. The Victory 400s are going to sell out. I honestly believe that. I didn't know for sure, but after doing this show, okay, I don't think these are going to sit around very much longer. I don't think they're going to sit around very much longer. Drift Devils. Well, this guy's right on my butt, so I'm going to do 90 and see if he still follows me. Yep. So I'm at 90 and he's kind of falling back now. He's still on my tail and I'm doing 90. I could do 100 if he wants me to. I just want to get ahead of these trucks. I don't like to get in the left lane and then get in the right lane and then get in the left lane again. I like there to be a kind of a nice stretch ahead of me. But I got a guy here. Okay, they got a road closure up here. No, we got car problems. A broke down truck. I'll pull over. I'll let him get ahead of me. Look at all these windmills. Unbelievable. I'm going to show you these windmills. It's sickening. Look at them all. They're disgusting. You can't tell me that that's generating enough power to pay for those stupid things. Unbelievable. They're all over the place. Look at all those windmills. Can you see them, guys? Unbelievable. Boy, have we really been duped. Look at all these windmills. Somebody was conned. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's see, what are you guys saying? Money laundering. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what they are. Money laundering. Yeah, I can believe that. What a waste of money. Let's see, what's UNM say? No. McDonald's chicken sandwich, I'll never eat one of those. Because frankly, they're no different. See, here, okay, that's a good thing to get off topic here. Let's just kind of have fun for a second. The reason, I'm going to just tell you why the reason the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is the best chicken sandwich ever. I'll just tell you flat out right now, okay? And all you have to do is go to McDonald's, buy one of theirs, take a chicken sandwich, or go to Chick-fil-A, take both the sandwiches and put them apart, and you'll see exactly what the difference is of the two sandwiches. There's no, you can see the McDonald's chicken sandwich is basically just a mass-produced piece of chicken. It's probably may be a real Chick-fil-A, or it might be a real filet, or it might be a real breast. But you compare it to a Chick-fil-A sandwich, and the batter that they put on a Chick-fil-A, it's not necessarily a floury, milky, batter. It's more of a how do I want to say it? It's more of it has less flour and it's just kind of like a very tasty coating that goes around the chicken. Go look at them. You can tell exactly. And it's amazing how McDonald's got it wrong so badly. Okay. What is it? Let's see here. I can't read these comments because the light is so bright in the car. Breaded, yes. The chicken sandwich at McDonald's is so breaded, where the one at Chick-fil-A is very less breaded but more spices. And therefore, a McChicken or a Chick-fil-A sandwich can actually sit in the bag a little longer and it still has a great taste, where a McDonald's chicken sandwich, if it sits anywhere, it just is disgusting. The reason being is McDonald's doesn't know what they're doing anymore. They don't know how to do anything because they have all these guys in their so-called university, hamburger university, but they don't know how to really cook for the consumer. Okay? If they would just learn how to make a hamburger again, they can't even do that right. Because their burgers are disgusting nowadays. All you have to do is go have an In-N-Out burger compared to a McDonald's burger. There's no comparison. You'll never, if you live near, let's put it this way, if there was an In-N-Out burger, a Five Guys, if there was one of those around Bowling Green, now I wouldn't eat there all the time, but I would never, ever eat a McDonald's hamburger again. If there was an In-N-Out burger near me, and that I could maybe go from an In-N-Out burger to maybe a Wendy's burger, okay? Let's see. I can't wait till you retire and open your grill. Yes. Well, if that ever happens and we ever get the building built and I can build my grill, I will. And Five Guys is because their burgers are freshly cooked right in front of you. That's what McDonald's used to do. But they've lost that because they went into this mass. And I think Ray Kroc is the one that really destroyed that. Yeah, you can mass produce, but you can't get away from the look at all these windmills. Oh my gosh, they look so ugly. The human touch. Nowadays, they put these burgers and they grill them on both sides at the same time, which literally takes all the flavor out of the burger. You have to leave the top of the burger open to the atmosphere, okay, when you're cooking them. You can't put that stupid grill on both sides and basically suck the life out of your burger. You can't tell them, though. Some idiot sold them that grilling machine that does both sides. I don't know who thought of that idea, but they should be fired. Even the quarter pounders, when they're too done. They literally are fried on both sides, okay? They literally are overcooked on both sides. Even a fresh patty is still pretty pathetic. You have to have a guy flipping the burgers. That's all I'm saying. Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to have Chick-fil-A on the way home. Never had a Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A. I like Browns and Popeyes, though. Well, see, the fact of the matter is, and I've said this about Chick-fil-A, is their Chick-fil-A nuggets are real. They've taken a chicken breast and cut the nuggets into little pieces. And then they pour them into this batter mix. And that's completely the opposite of how McDonald's is. They churn the chicken into this like paste, and then they pump it out into little nuggets. That's not chicken. I'm sorry. What you could say it's chicken. You could say it's real chicken, but that's not real chicken. It's almost like a sewage, spurted out of a hole. Anyways, all right, let's get off that topic. What else do we want to talk about? I'm going to do this for another half hour. So I won't be home until 3 o'clock. Amarillo. I'm almost coming into Amarillo, Texas. I'm 265 miles until 70, Interstate 70, it looks like. I'm 264 miles until 70. So if anybody doesn't understand the U.S. interstate system, I will explain it to you because I know it like the back of my hand. So it was divided into two sections, north, south, east, and west. East and west are even numbers. For example, 1, 2, or 2, 4, 6, 8. Those are even numbers. Interstate 80, 90, and the highest number starts north. So 90 obviously is at the top of America. Then you have 80, 70, 40, 30, 20, 10s. 10, there's an Interstate 10 in California. And I can't see what that says there because the sun is too bright and I can't see what you're saying. Sorry. So you're really talking to one another, okay, guys? I hope you don't mind. And so then, so that's how the north-south works on the interstates. And it's the same with your state roads. All your state roads go the same way as the interstate system. Odd and even go north and south, odd numbers go north and south. So if you're on an interstate and you're on Interstate 69, well, that'd be going north and south. If you're on 75, obviously that's going, and it goes from the high numbers on the East Coast. So 95 is on the East Coast, and it goes all the way across the United States, and the low numbers are in California of your odd numbers. So if you're ever getting lost, you don't know where you're going, and you get on a road and it's an odd number, you know you're going north and south. Now sometimes that road will go east or west, but normally it's going to go in a southern direction. And if you're on an even number, that's going to go east and west. And so if you stay on a road long enough, it will either take you all north, all south, all east, or all west. And that is the interstate system in a nutshell. Most of the the interstate system was built in the 60s and the mid 70s. Most of it was done in that, and now I know why it was so cheap to build this in the 1960s. Is because if you could build an entire slot car set that is fully three-dimensional with mountains and everything for $34 and costs really only $750 to make, and that includes all the manufacturing, that includes all the cost of goods and everything, are literally pennies. Yeah, the interstate system costs virtually nothing to build in the 60s. And that's why it costs so much money now to redo it. There's no money to do it. because we're broke. So I'm driving back. Right now I'm in the upper peninsula of Texas, and I'm heading toward Alvarado. I am 259 miles, I think, until 70. I think. But it has been flat non-stop. I didn't want to go. See, the problem with going to if I left Thursday morning, I would have got to my sister's at around 12 o'clock. Okay, that guy's going real fast. I'm doing 80 miles an hour. There's no need to go any more than that. And you're going to risk yourself a ticket if you do 90. Why do that? Gas prices are around $3.39 to $4.19, which is absolutely ridiculous. The high prices in Vegas, they were $5 and average. And I think that's why it's not as many people are in the casino. I don't think they have the money, honestly. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know. Free 72-ounce steak. How could somebody eat a 72-ounce steak? A lot of new housing out here. Boy, this was a flat area. I can see how this area is cattle. Of course, there's a lot of farms around here too. A lot of farming around here. A lot of farming. Love's. Boy, I tell you, a lot of Love's gas stations. They must have taken over the area. Holy moly. The sun's really bright. Really bright. Happy Tracks Horse Motel. A horse motel. I think there's one thing I think every American should do at least once in their lifetime. Okay? So I'm going to tell you what it is. All right? So I don't care what I don't know how long I've got. I might be losing reception. Okay, so in 1994, I took two teenagers, Kenny Strickland and Steve Weary, around the United States. Now, it depends on where you're at, and technically, wherever you are in Amarillo, Texas, and I'm losing signal. How does that happen? I'm in the city of Amarillo, Texas. And so what everybody needs to do is literally go around the United States once, okay? Now, it depends on where you are. I'm just going to tell you how I did it. I left Ohio, and I took Interstate 80 all the way until Mount Rushmore. We stopped at Mount Rushmore. We stopped everywhere as we could to stay at camp. From 80 we went through Illinois, we went through Iowa, Nebraska, Montana, or Dakotas, South Dakota. We hit Yellowstone National Park, Devil's Tower, and then we went south, I think in the 15 from Yellowstone. We went through Salt Lake City. Then we went to Vegas. Then we went to California. We swam at the ocean. We then went east on 40. We stopped at the Grand Canyons. We went across Texas. We saw the meteor hit the United States. And we went through then St. Louis, went through the arch, saw the arch, and then we went all the way back to Ohio in 30 days. We did a 30-day trip. I took these kids, maybe it wasn't 30 days, but it was a long trip. We had a lot of fun. Funnest trip I ever did. Steve's now 50 years old. That's what I find so funny. Steve, and he's a lawyer. He was about 12 years old or 13 years old when we did this, and now he's 50 years old. Unbelievable. It was kind of funny how he's almost, like I'm 63. He was literally 10 years younger than I was. I basically babysitted him and his brothers when I was in high school. And then when I went into the Navy boot camp, his dad died, and so I kind of mentored him, and kind of like I was kind of like his maybe an older brother, and I always did trips with him. We went to Disney World together. I took him to Disney World, and I just kind of helped him out in life, and him and his brothers, I cut him out. Kevin he's a plumber. He really never had a lot of mental or a lot of problems. Steve didn't either. Brian was the one that kind of had a hard adjustment to his dad's death. He was a doctor, Dr. Weary. And, but anyway, so Steve, and then Reggie was went to our church, and so I drove Reggie from Connecticut to Ohio, and then I picked up Steve, and we went around the United States. But honestly, I think everybody in America should, especially if you're retired, you should get in your car and go on a trip around the country. Are fooling themselves. That you're fooling yourselves, really. Because you don't know, it's amazing the amount of things, and we didn't spend a lot of, we didn't go around the United States quickly. We stopped at every tourist trap, so we took our time on that trip. But Steve and Reggie, they loved that trip. It was they have always, I haven't really had any I wish I could get a hold of Reggie Strickland, but I can't find him anywhere. He was African American, and he had a brother named Kenny Strickland, and I can't find him. I've tried to find him on the internet, but Kenny and Reggie Strickland, they're brothers, and I haven't talked to them in 30 years, honestly. 30 years I haven't seen him, heard him, and that was probably the funnest trip I ever took, and we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. I was thinking about, when I was coming out here, I was telling you how I've been blessed in certain things, and it is kind of amazing how God has done a lot of amazing things in my life. Sometimes you take granted for things that have happened. I've been so blessed, it's unbelievable. Working or helping round 2 now, and being in the industry so long. I literally have been in the industry my whole life almost. It's just really awesome, actually. Retail is I'm just really good at selling. I don't know what it is about me. I don't know where I got that bug. I don't know where I got that bug. sure good at it. Yeah, I'm in Amarillo, Texas. This was at one time a big cattle. Thousands of cattle would come across the country. The cowboys would get their herds of cattle of 2,000 and they'd come into Amarillo. And then the trains would be ready to get them, to send them to St. Louis and to Chicago. There's a great movie called The Cowboys with Glenn Ford and oh shoot, can't believe I can't think of his name. Walter Matthau and The Odd Couple. I'm trying to think his name. Anyways, it's called The Cowboys about Lemon, Jack Lemmon, or not Jack Lemmon. Maybe it's Jack Lemmon. Anyways, he's in a hotel and the cowboys come in because they just brought their herd of cattle to Chicago, you know, and made a ton of money, and now he has to go back and get another herd of cattle. A different time in America. Different time in America. The cattlemen, the rustlers trying to steal the cattle. Different time, different time. A different time. People with a vision. People with a vision and an idea. And they just did it, you know, they risked their lives. They risked everything to, oh my gosh. They took the cattle and, you know, some got injured and Hondo was another one that was a great movie. You know, they had 2 cattle and out of 2 cattle, they created an entire herd of cattle. Out of just 2 cattle. We've lost a lot of that now in America. We don't have a lot of that drive, that entrepreneurship. I always like to tell people that America became the America in the 1800s, between, I would say, 1860 and 1899. And believe it or not, the government was less than 1% of had less than 1% of the power that it has now. It was really the states in control. The government was just kind of overseeing. They didn't have any money. They were broke, really. The federal government was, and everything was in the states. Everything had everybody the money, and then all that kind of sucked away. 1912 to 1923 is when everything kind of fell apart in America. In a sense of the long-term prosperity that we would have. Everything that we have now, a lot of it came from, you know, 5 guys, basically. You have Carnegie, you had Vanderbilts, you had Rockefellers, Heinz, You had about 10 guys. Edison. You had about 10 guys. Alexander Graham Bell. You had about 10 guys that just created everything that the world uses right now. Ford. Yeah, Ford was in the later part of but yes, his concept. Okay. I don't know how long I'm going to have signal, guys. So, but if you want to watch a great series that was on the History Channel, is Men That Made America, and I'm sure that's a biased movie or racist because it's men. Well, weren't there any women? Well, no, there were not a lot of women that built America. There might have been a couple, but not as many. It was men that built America. And I just gave you the names of them. But it just didn't build America, guys. It changed the world forever. Carnegie with steel, Vanderbilt with trains, Rockefeller with using of oil and gas and propane. All these things fueled the expansion of America, and not only America, but the entire world. And it's amazing that the people nowadays want to tear all that down. It is kind of funny. I find it absolutely amazing, actually. But when Carnegie builds his steel and he builds the bridge across the St. Louis or the Mississippi, and nobody wants to walk across it, so he gets an elephant to walk across the bridge, and then people say, oh, this thing is safe. That actually happened. That's not science fiction. I gotta learn to calm down when I'm talking like this. Or Carnegie, right? With his steel and everything. Because before they had iron, but then once they came out with steel, it revolutionized everything. And that's because men were put to the task of doing things that were never done. And then people always complain, well, they got greedy. And no, that's just man. That's just the way man is. You want to make something. You want to create your wealth, but you also want to do something with that wealth. And they did. Then you got Edison. Some people say, well, he stole everybody's inventions. No, he didn't steal anybody's inventions. He created and I'm not an expert on Edison, but I do know that he created one thing for the telegraph, and that was seed money to create his workshop. Well, if he didn't have his workshop, none of these other guys would have been able to come up with any of the other inventions that he then used. Okay, so you can't say, well, Edison, he squashed Tesla. Well, he gave Tesla a shot. Now, obviously, Tesla and him disagreed about AC and DC, and that's a legitimate disagreement. Well, we all know now that AC was a better system, but that's competition to begin with. That's always happens. But everybody wants to vilify everybody for what they did or what they couldn't do. Alexander Graham Bell, for example, changed the world forever with the invention of the telephone. And believe me, the early telephones between the 1880s and 1920s up to probably 1930s was a pretty shoddy phone system. Cross lines, you could hear other people talking. Terrible. But at least it was a system that you could talk from one country to another. And then you have and what's really sad is what's happening right now with the combustible engine and thinking that it's not that I don't believe in electric cars. I just don't believe an electric car can substitute for the combustible engine. I just don't believe it can do that. And I don't know if it ever can do that unless we create a nuclear battery, okay, that you can charge instantly and it doesn't have any heat related to it. That you could instantly charge a battery, okay, within 10 All right, so as long as it takes to fill up a car, what's that? 2 minutes? It's never going to happen, okay? And I think Ford going down that road of all electric, I think it's suicidal, actually. I think they're going to go out of business, honestly. I think a lot of these companies are going to go out of business because they're going to realize that this was stupid. But then you go back 100 years ago, Henry Ford, there were 50 motor companies making motor cars for the rich. And that's exactly what's happening nowadays. Nobody is making a car for the average American. Just an average sedan, average station wagon that the average American could go in and buy. Because now the cars are $30,000 to $40,000, $50,000. Your average American can't afford a car like that. And then your electric cars are $60,000 to $70,000. Oh, that's really smart. How is the average American going to afford a car? You can't. Henry Ford did. He basically built the assembly line, and he wanted to get a car to every American for $500. Now think about that, guys. $500. An entire Model T automobile manufactured, the engine, every component of the car manufactured for $500. So let's go backwards. So $500. Let's say that it cost the dealer maybe $300. All right. So all the all the material that costs to build that Model T, maybe $200. An entire Model T, guys. Tires, all the wood, all the upholstery, all the engine, the steel, everything to build a car for $500. We can't imagine that right now because we live in such a upside down time. And he sold almost 10 million of these cars. When was the last time they made a car that they sold 1 million of? Well, I'll tell you right now, if I was in charge of Ford, I would have 3 cars that I would be selling 1 million each of them. I would have a coupe, 2-door coupe that would hold 4 people. That's my first car. I then would have a wagon or similar to a Nomad, and then I would have a basic truck. And they all would be under $20,000, probably $10,000. And I would sell them so fast that the public couldn't get them fast enough. But honestly, I don't think they want them anymore. I don't think our government wants people to have cars anymore. That's my personal opinion, but nobody likes me anyway. So I'm 245 miles from Oklahoma City. So giving you a perspective of miles now. Ever since I've been driving on road trips with SCX and with Irwin Toy, I have a new perspective of miles. So if you guys live in Ohio or wherever you live and you don't drive a lot and you have to drive 200 miles, 300 miles, you think, wow, that's a long time. 300. When I see 200 miles, that's nothing. That's like a drop in the bucket. That's like, I'll be there in no time. No time. Maybe no time. All right, let's see what some of the comments are. I might be able to read some of these. There's nobody on the road, so I'm going to take my glasses off because I can see far ahead. So let's see. Are you on 40? I'm on 40. It's all a matter in the factory. Yeah. Also, don't forget Brian Carter Young too. Carnegie, close. All right. Yes, I'm on 40. And another windmill farm over here. There's another windmill farm out there. They're all over the place. Unbelievable, disgusting. All the raw earth materials it takes to build these windmills. It's disgusting, guys. You all know that. I think most of you are on my side. We only have 13 people watching, which is fine. Today is Friday. So I can do about, depending on what gas I get in this tank, I normally can do about 450 miles. On my Mini Cooper. I can do about 34 miles to a gallon. But you know what really sick about it is that when I had my Ford Escort, when I went around the United States, that got 40 miles to the gallon. 40 miles to the gallon. 1980 Ford Escort. 40 miles to the gallon. Highway. Man, that thing was that engine was boy, you don't want to be in this one with me right now. Woo, boy, that was rape. Let's put the window down, Brian. Come on, man, what are you doing to yourself? Holy cow. Yeah, that's it. So I am in the little middle of nowhere. Crop dusting alert. I'm in the middle of nowhere, really. I'm in between Amarillo and Oklahoma City. And this is about as flat as you can get. Okay, the pioneers would come across this country and go, how far are we yet, Daddy, till yes, all these boxes are charged with the odors that I've placed on them. I've been, I don't know if anybody's been listening to, if anybody's ever listened to John MacArthur. He's got the church in California called Grace to You. He was the only pastor that didn't shut down in California. I've been listening to him kind of nonstop, actually. Kind of building up my faith. Anyway, he was talking about what was he talking about that I thought was interesting? I don't remember. Anyways, so I'm in the middle of nowhere, actually. I've set my cruise speed at 80 miles exactly because the speed limit is 75 and I set it at 80 exactly. Now the only problem is and I don't know why this is, my Mini Cooper says that I'm doing 84, but my Garmin is said that I'm doing 80. It's really my Garmin always says that I'm doing 4 miles slower than my speed limit on my Mini Cooper itself. And I don't know why that is. I don't believe it's delay. It can't be delay, that much of a delay from the satellite down to because I thought the Garmin's were pretty accurate on their speed. Brian, you have... Oh, shoot. What did he say? Let me get this here. See, I can't see that because you're too close. Brian, you have seen Scotty's, the HO guys live stream lately. Literally going over his collection. No, I've heard about that. Ryan sent me an email about Scotty's collection, which he's been talking about. No, I saw it yesterday with Ryan, but I haven't really seen any of the videos. I'll have to see some of them tonight. maybe send me an email with the links to it, and I can, comment on it. Because I don't know how far I'm going to go tonight. If I drive all the way through, it's going to be 3 o'clock in the morning when I get home. And I don't know if I want to drive that long. I might want to stop. I'm trying to see if there's anybody I know between here and Ohio that I could spend the night with. Because my sister Susan, or Becky, she lives in Kansas, but that's too far away. And I'm trying to think. The problem is I'd like to be 4 or 5 hours away from home, which would put me around, anywhere Ohio, Indiana area. I can't stay at Tim's because he's too far north. It has to be somewhere in Indiana or Illinois. Oh boy. Overall, this trip has been a highly successful trip in the sense that all the dealers loved my new web. Now we just got to get retailers to go to the website, BCY Service, log in and become a dealer. And when you become a dealer, you have to buy it in bulk. You have to buy at least 24 cars at a time. You can't just go in there and buy 4 cars. I mean, you can. We want retailers to try to buy at least in minimums of. If you buy something from the store, you have to buy at least 12 cars. A minimum of 12 every time. So 90% of your dealers can do that. So, oh boy. Check out the email when you stop tonight. Just emailed you a link to the live streams. Okay, I will. Ryan sent me something last night about this guy. He's been talking about the store and all that, ProTinkerToy. I am in Texas, Amarillo, Texas. I'm heading to Oklahoma City, and then I'll be heading then to St. Louis, and then St. Louis I'll be getting on to 70. And then 70 will take me to Indianapolis, and then Indianapolis will take me to up north to Fort Wayne, and then I'm going to hit 281. 281 takes me into Wayne. So if I decide to stop, it has to be somewhere in the Indiana area, unfortunately, because then it's a waste. If I stop, I want to try to drive as far as I can. I think I'm going to have to, what time is it? 82 minutes. We've been talking about an hour and a half. I'm going to stop here, I think, for a little bit because my denture is constantly falling out. It's getting annoying. And I can talk to you guys without my denture. Of course, I'm sure you wouldn't want to see that. Denture. Okay, hold on. Let me switch to the road mode. I'll take my denture out. but it feels weird without my denture. So tell me what you think without my denture. So this is without my denture. Okay. So you'd have to tell me, do you notice my teeth not being there?